Come on in. Yeah, it's time.
Within these walls, home is just a word, a fairy tale I'd heard that always kept me searching. Within these walls, home is now the place of refuge and escape. Serenity surrounds me. A miracle is happening to me. I'm finally learning what a home can be. Within these walls, I have learned to fly, to take charge of my life, and find the peace inside me. Within these walls, we love and work and play, finding joy along the way. And now I want to stay within these walls. Within these walls, my thoughts would pull me down. I wouldn't look around to see that love surrounds me. Within these walls, friends now gather here, and laughter fills the air. It's all that I was wanting. I've tried before to do it on my own. Now I found a way to make a home. Within these walls, I have learned to fly, to take charge of my life, and find the peace inside me. Within these walls, we love and work
It's
and
contagious.
play, finding joy along the way. And now I want to stay
Within these
walls.
Where is everybody?
Within these walls, I have learned to fly, to take charge of my life, and find the peace inside me. Within these walls, we love and work and play, finding joy along the way. Now I want to stay within these walls.
Get on in here. I'm seeing some great testimonials here on YouTube from Carrie. Hi, Miss Marla. I've gotten so much done today with resting, and I lost it again. It keeps going away. And I got so much done with resting. I've been basically bedridden for years. To God be the glory. This is beautiful. This is beautiful. You rest in between. I've been getting a lot of stuff done today too. I had my toiletry bag that I've had for years. It needed to be replenished and reorganized, and I couldn't get the zippers undone because I'd left it in the car and something leaked and everything got stuck. So I had to basically take my vice grips and some Windex and loosen up the shampoo that had leaked and caused the zippers not to work. Now I've got to run it through the wash machine, and I've just been cleaning off my hot spot and getting things done, and it feels pretty good to get some stuff done. It really does, because we put things off, we just out of sight, out of mind sort of things. And if Robert said, "Hey, let let's go on a trip," I would have to pull all that stuff together, and it'd be a pain. It would be. So here we are. We're good to go now. And it's just it just feels good getting things done, baby steps. I haven't started my squash yet. I may wait till tomorrow because we'll have the air conditioner on tomorrow. But today, it's just a little bit too hot to be doing kitchen work or cooking in the kitchen. So I want to talk a little bit about when somebody betrays you and how you feel about these things. You know, the Bible teaches us to forgive. When somebody comes to you and asks for forgiveness, to forgive 7 times 70. That's 490 times, if I do the math in my head right. 7 times 70. But if somebody, those of you who are on here who are biblical, my sister, what happens if they don't come to you and apologize? I think for ourselves, this is my opinion, my sister will straighten me out here. For myself, I still have to forgive them. I don't have to like what they did to me, but I still have to forgive them. And I probably need to say in love how I was offended in whatever way that was. And this keeps you from being beaten down, because we've all been beaten down some way or another with someone who has betrayed us. Think about Judas betraying Jesus for 30 pieces of silver. Think about that. That's nothing to betray the Son of God. And we get betrayed. People put us down because our houses are a mess and all kinds of things. But when people do bad things to you, it shows you who they are. It shows you exactly who they are. And when God shows you who they are, you need to remember it, because things happen for a reason. And, within your family, if you and your husband have a disagreement, that does not deter the love that you have for each other. You have a disagreement. You have a simple disagreement on things. And when that happens, sometimes the best thing we can do is apologize. Now, I'm not telling you to say, "I'm sorry." No, I don't like those words, because you're putting the negativity on you. I want you to say, "I apologize if I hurt your feelings or if I said something. I apologize." So we in our book Body Clutter, we have a whole chapter on forgiveness. And the thing about that chapter, it's more about forgiving ourselves from the sins we've committed. We have to forgive ourselves. God's going to forgive us, but we have to repent of what we've done, and we're forgiven. But you got to let it go. You've got to let it go. But you forgive someone for what they've done to you. You forgive someone for what they have done to you you forgive someone for what they've done to you, because if you don't forgive them, it's a poison. It is a poison to you. I remember a long time ago, I had hard feelings toward my father, and we're supposed to honor our father and mother. And we had been pretty much brainwashed as children that he was a terrible person. And I was grown, and Justin was about 9 years old, and I started praying for him. I started praying for him. You know, we're taught to pray for our enemies. Well, he wasn't my enemy. I started praying for him. And one day my sister Patty called and said, Daddy's here. And she's living in Union City. She said, Daddy's here and he wants to see you. And I said, okay, tell him how to find me. Tell him to come on. And he came to my house and he had my baby brother with him. That's how I knew I had a baby brother named Clifton. And it's a long story, but one Memorial Day weekend, I'll never forget it. They had a free Ancestry.com weekend, and I was on there doing some stuff, and I got a message on Ancestry.com. And it had to do with my Arnold Watson time, you know, our family tree. And he says, I'm looking for my sister or my sisters. And he said, you may know them. And so I wrote him back and I said, Clifton. And I knew his name, but I couldn't find him online or anywhere. And it was because he had been adopted by his stepfather. And I said to him, I'm not your cousin. I'm your sister. I'm your sibling. And you have 3 other siblings besides me. And it was just a joyous thing. Robert and I drove down to South Texas, to Dilley, Texas, and met him and his family. And it was powerful getting to meet. You know, he said he never looked like anybody in his family. And we met, and we got our picture together. One day I'll show it to you. We look just alike. He's a spitting image of me, except he's probably I say 30 years younger than I am. So everything happens for a reason, but you have to forgive. You have to forgive in the process, because holding grudges only keeps you sick. That's evil. That's a demon that is in you that wants you to hold a grudge. You have to forgive these people. It doesn't mean you have to associate with them anymore. But if you forgive them, you are strong. You're a stronger person. And when the disagreement is in your own family, sometimes it takes the bigger person to say, I apologize. I apologize. And also when there's a disagreement going on, pick your battles. Not everything needs to be a battle. It doesn't. Say, okay, that's fine. Let it go. Because not everything has to be this big uproar and drama going on. It's just, you don't have to do that. You don't have to do it to your insides. I know I don't do well having a disagreement. I just don't. So we have to pray for the people that have disappointed us in some form or fashion. We have to pray for them. And when you can do that, you are the bigger person. And you don't want to flaunt that in their faces. But you know deep down in your heart that it's the right thing to do. It's the right thing to do for you. You know how I end every show. Be good, kind, and sweet. Be good to yourself. Being good to yourself is forgiving others. And forgiving yourself. That's being good to yourself. Being kind to others. That's a powerful thing. And then your cup runneth over with love when you're not beaten down by the demon of unforgiveness. As my sister and I were talking yesterday about Pastor Derek Prince, she says, you study him and you're going to see demons everywhere. We need to recognize when their demons come into our spirit. The demon of unforgiveness and hatefulness toward other people, that's not good. Yes, praying for people will help them. Will help you to let go of them. One of the first things I ever wrote was I put together an outline. Robert had this fellow judge, a lady judge, who had filed for his seat when she could have just ran for her seat. And so we had to have a primary. And I was having really hard feelings for this woman. I didn't know this woman, but I didn't like this woman. And I still don't have to like her. But I'm commanded to love her regardless. And I didn't know how to pray for her. So I asked my 12,000 ladies at the time, how do you pray for an enemy? And if you will send me an email to flylady@flylady.net with prayer in the subject line, my computer will automatically send you this outline that I compiled from all the people that sent me comments on how to pray for an enemy. It's powerful, y'all. It's powerful. One of the things that it said in that outline was that one of my fly babies gave me was to go to your quiet place. Well, my quiet place is a tub full of hot water. Well, I got in the tub and I still couldn't pray for her. I couldn't pray at all. So I just started singing at the top of my lungs. Robert was in court in Brevard that day. He was in court. And I was here at home singing and in my bathtub full of bubbles and just singing to the top of my lungs. And I was singing a song that was one of the first songs I ever learned to play on the organ. And it was Sweet Hour of Prayer. And there's a verse in that song when you sing it, and it says, and off escapes the tempter's snare. And as I'm singing those words, these are words I've sung in church my whole life. As I was singing those words, it hit me. I could pray to keep the demons away from her. I could pray for that. To keep the demons away from her. Well, I did. Well, Robert had a break. We didn't have cell phones like we have now at that time. And Robert had a break in court. And he had this song. He gets epiphanies in song. And that song, you'll see when you send me your request for that prayer, his little epiphany is in that email. Because it's been a long time and I haven't read it in a long time. But demons were fleeing. I promise you. They were going. So, folks, pray for your enemy. You'll be better for it. You will be much better for it. You'll be much better for it. So take some time today to take care of yourself by forgiving others. And if you can't pray for them, then pray for the demons to stay away. That's what I had to do. Now, I don't know what's happened to her or anything. I think she's still a lawyer. Maybe she's retired. I don't know. But what she did was bad. And I don't know why she did those things because she had her own seat. But Robert defeated her in a primary and went on to be a judge for another 15, 17 years after that. And she had done some pretty terrible things to Robert and I before we got married. She did some really terrible things. So, folks, forgive, let go of them. You know, the best thing you can do for someone who's a narcissist is just ignore them. Just ignore them. Let them go. Let them go to their own, whatever they're going to do, because they're going to do what they're going to do because they're self-centered. But you forgive them and let them go. Well, thank you so much. So be good, kind, and sweet. Good to yourself by forgiving yourself and forgive others. Kind to your neighbors. That's one of our commandments. And let the joy and the sweetness that is in your heart overflow so people know that you're of God. And if you've not become a Christian, we can help you. You ask Jesus to come into your heart and to be your Lord and Savior, and He will be. Anyway, I will see you in the morning. It's Anti-Procrastination Day. This week just flies by. Tomorrow's Anti-Procrastination Day. Take care of yourself and be good, kind, and sweet.